So why I no longer work out to look good, and how that's actually made me feel even better and look even better and lose a little bit more weight than when I worked out because I wanted to look good. So my first part of the series, I talked kind of like my journey of that toxic cycle I had with food and exercise, and how I was using food to manage my emotions and then using exercise as a way to manage my mental health, and this like cycle of eating something bad and eating too much of something and then trying to justify it by exercising and trying to expunge the guilt and cleanse my sins as a way to rectify my fuck up. So this next part, I'm going to talk about how really I recovered and some of the things I want to share with you of how I made it work, so that exercise, I wasn't abusing exercise, but rather using exercise to heal from my abuse. And that how I really view exercise now. And it's, and in my previous video, I showed you like 2 pictures of how I looked like back when I was exercising like hours and hours at the gym, no kids, I had all the time in the world, just finished a 3-hour hike, and yet like, what I looked like. And then now I just ran up to put my bikini on, and what I looked like now with just working out 30 minutes a day in my mid-30s, having 2 kids, and my son is 9 months old. So I'm postpartum. I think postpartum, I don't even know how long it is. We're always postpartum, aren't we? Anyway, so here are some tips that, here are things that worked for me of how I stopped using exercise as a way to justify that, to manage my mental health. I mean, I still use it to manage my mental health, but not in a toxic way. Okay, so I made physical activity a habit instead of punishment. So like, I never really had a problem missing my workout, but the motivation to do so, like why I wasn't missing my workout, was actually toxic. And it was like, it became a daily opportunity for me to make amends with, depending on how good or bad I ate that day. So like, even though I never missed my workout, and that's a good thing to not miss your workout, the reason why I wasn't missing my workout wasn't actually a good reason. So it's kind of like changing the why for yourself. And I talk about why in another video about like how to increase your self-awareness through the self-reflection exercise and asking yourself why about 5 times, going into the layers of a decision you've made in the past, and how that will increase the knowledge of yourself. Anyway, so physical activity is not punishment. It isn't. It really isn't something like, and this is how horrible the media plays it, right? They view like, you gotta like punish yourself and do these crazy things with your body in order to get a good workout. And that's just as ridiculous. It's not redemption. Like, physical activity is not redemption. It really is just merely something that needs to be done regularly and consistently. Obviously, consistency is key in order to maintain your health. And it's really just a habit. And a lot of folks struggle to get that workout in during their day because they view it as an additional thing, right? They go to work, they come home, they make their dinner, they eat dinner, and then they're like, I have no time to do this. And they're, when they wake up, make their coffee, they, pack their lunch or go out for lunch or whatever, and their whole day, they don't think about exercise. You just think about, I got to get my workout done, right? I got to go to get to the gym. And as all the health and fitness experts say, like, the key to making exercise a habit is to make it part of your routine. But if you don't see it as part of your routine, then you're never going to get it done. For me, however, it was removing the significance and the toxic purpose it served, right? That daily opportunity to kind of make amends, like almost a confession, right? Like a daily confession that I had to make, and then what my punishment was, my sentence, your prison sentence or whatever. But rather, like, so removing that significance and then making exercise a mundane part of my life, right? Like, make it just part of my routine, like brushing my teeth in the morning. You wake up and you're like, oh, my teeth feel gross, I'm gonna go and brush my teeth, or okay, I'm tired. And as a mom, you're always tired. I'm gonna make my coffee because it triggers you, right? And so once, it's like that Pavlov's dog where when he heard the bell ring, he would salivate. And it's like, when I don't get a workout in, my body tells me, hey, like, you need to move, you need to like stretch, or you need to like get those joints moving. Your lymphatic system needs to reset or whatever, right? That was the first thing, is to make it a habit, okay? And change the reasons why you exercise. That it's not a way, it's not because you did something bad or you need to like serve this sentence, but rather, hey, it's just something you need to do. And it's like everything else in your life. Next thing was I realized really I had a choice, right? You talk about choice, you talk about control on how I wanted to exercise. Exercise doesn't have to be like this crazy, CrossFit routine where we're flipping tires and like, like doing, like that, those commercials you see of like hockey players where they're like throwing those ropes and those super heavy ropes, and they're flipping tires and they're doing like crazy things, balancing on a ball. Okay, those are like hockey players. They're like their professions. That's their profession. They're professionals. Okay, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And like all healthy habits, it takes effort to keep. To lose weight, we've all heard that 80-20 rule, right? 80% of your effort should be focused on your sensible diet and eating, relatively healthy. And then the 20% of your effort should be focused on exercise. And because exercise was tied to how much I ate and what I ate, I first really had to like reel back and manage my emotional eating. That was the first thing. And of course, I have an entire video on talking about that. So if you do have issues with emotional eating, please check it out. And once I got a handle on kind of like being in tune with my feelings, what am I feeling? Am I feeling bored? Am I feeling lonely? Do I feel left out? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I stressed? Am I frustrated? Am I have anxiety? Why do I want to eat? And then when you actually do eat and you're like, okay, no, actually I'm hungry, I'm starving, or I need something for my energy, then you can practice mindfulness and gratitude during that moment of eating. Using those same principles of mindfulness and gratitude, apply that to your exercise session, right? That you can be grateful for whatever exercise you're doing, be grateful for your body, and then you can let loose and have fun, right? Exercise can be a very fun way to enjoy yourself. If you think about it, exercise is defined, I'm going to read this definition, as moving your body to sustain or improve health and fitness. And so you can interpret that as 30 minutes of cardio on a treadmill at 6 miles per hour, and then after 30 minutes of strength training, and you rotate between your lower body and your upper body between days. You got your leg day and your arm day or whatever, and then your core day. You can view it very structured in that way. Or you can interpret it as like a day of golf. Like if you got like, you do 18 holes and walking around a golf course and whacking balls all day. That could be your exercise too. You can also interpret it as 10,000 steps, walking to the park or the playground, running around with your kids, climbing on the monkey bars, going down the slide up and down like 10 times. And that's your exercise. So like that change in perspective about what exercise is empowered me to experiment and have fun. And I actually got to discover what I actually enjoyed doing, which really can be anything. And I love learning and I love trying new things. And so knowing I had a choice in how I interpreted exercise, it like freed my limited beliefs that it was really dependent on what I ate that day. You know what I mean? Like it's like if I ate chips and donuts that day, I didn't have to go hard and long, right? It wasn't dependent on what I ate and how much I ate. And then I didn't have to be like, oh, well, I only ate like salad and protein all day, so I'm really good. I can just do a quick and easy workout. Like it's not linked, right? You can choose whatever you want for your workout session. As part of this, I started taking yoga. I started taking Zumba, hip hop, cardio, kickboxing, barre, pilates classes, and then I learned how to swing kettlebells properly and to learn to appreciate low impact movements. You don't have to jump. You don't have to do plyometrics. You don't have to go from box to box and do these crazy things and like do like kips or whatever, like pull-ups and then get like all the calluses on your fingers. Like I used to have tons of calluses on my fingers, and now it's like, no, I don't need to. I can just, don't even take it easy. Just do stuff that it doesn't require you to do something that hurts you, right? And then incorporating breath work into your exercise, learning how to breathe. I mean, that's an entire episode in itself. Every day I have a choice in how I wanted to move my body, how I wanted to exercise. And that challenge of that, I can challenge myself or I can just have fun with it. And that choice keeps it exciting. So that's my second point, is having a choice. The first one was making it a habit. The next one is really focusing on moderation and consistency. That word moderation is thrown around. I think there's a reason for it. So when I became a mom of two, time became a hot commodity. For any parents out there, it's not even like about your own time. It's just the fact that even when they're quiet and playing by themselves, you want to start something, but within 5 minutes, they'll interrupt you. So it's almost like you do have time, but you don't. And you think you have time, and when you start something, you'll never have enough time to finish it. So that's the problem with having, not problem, but like that's the thing with time and having kids, is that they'll interrupt you and then you're just never able to finish something. But there is also a flexibility of exercise, being able to do 5 minutes of exercise, take a break 5 minutes, and totaling it up to 30 minutes. So that's another tactic that you can try. I haven't done it myself because I've been able to kind of fit in that 30 minutes all together and clump it together. Motherhood has become like a forced function or a constraint in preventing me from over-exercising. So like, it's kind of like, you think about forced functions, like you literally cannot do what you want to do. So like, I cannot fit in a 2-hour gym session. It's unrealistic. It's not feasible. It's just impossible. So when I started exercising after giving birth to my first with my daughter, I had to drastically cut down my workout. Like I had to just streamline the baby and optimize what I could do in 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes was almost like this magical number for me. And really all I focused on was, let's just get this workout done while she naps, or while she's watching, while she's like kind of good and quiet and just jumping around, and she's been fed and she's been changed and she's had a good nap, or she's napping and I can fit this half an hour in. So that's what I focus on, completion over perfection, remember. And then the next thing I focus on is just getting that next workout in for the following day, just getting it done, because it's a habit. I have to brush my teeth. I have to make my coffee in the morning. I don't have to, but I like my coffee. So fortunately during this time, it was also this is what I love about my life, is that the internet exists. Like if I was born 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago, the internet wouldn't have existed, and at this capacity that everyone has. And so there are literally thousands, if not I'm definitely for sure thousands of videos on YouTube where you can find an exercise routine that is within 30 minutes, and you can just type in 30-minute workout with whatever type of exercise you like. And I found 10 that I just love. And you obviously test it out with the instructor that you're watching, because if you like them, then you can keep watching them. And then of course with social media, if you really like the instructor, then you can actually follow them on Instagram and just go through that kind of rabbit hole. And so some of the things focus on moderation and consistency, right? So I don't track how many workouts I've done in this past week. I don't people don't go oh, so you're working out 3 times a week, right? I'm I don't know. Something like that. I don't track how many workouts I've done in a month or a year, and I don't record my gains, right? Back in my over-exercising days, I would track okay, I did 12 reps at 15 pounds, or okay, I did 3 sets of 12 at 20 pounds. And then I did, and then you're kind of okay, well, next week or the following month, I'm going to try and aim for 30 pounds and at 10 reps. And you kind of reduce a few of the reps so that you can increase the weight. And then eventually you'll be able to increase the, all this kind of I don't know, just trying to reach peak performance. And if that's your thing, that's cool. That's totally fine for you to do if you really like to track those gains and be able to reach a performance and your goal setting and all this stuff. But for me, it's actually very toxic for me, because I don't want to know, and then I become obsessive, right? I become obsessed with the numbers. So I don't think about how long it takes me to run 5 kilometers. Before in my treadmill, back in my overexercising day, I'd be like, oh my God, it took me like 28 minutes and 30 seconds. Next tomorrow, I got to do it under 28 minutes. Or, you know, for, okay, this is just 10K run, I got to get it under like 50 minutes or whatever, right? And so, like, I honestly, I stopped caring about the metrics. I stopped caring about the KPIs or the key performance indicators. And all I really care about after and before and during a workout is how I feel. Like, how I feel during a workout. And I talk about mindfulness and being in tune with your body and focus on how your body moves during that time of your just 30 minutes. Before and after. So after workout, you feel great. And then it's just about being in tune with my body as much as I can. The next thing that I did was I changed the reasons why I exercise. It's kind of tied to the habit thing, but I did this exercise, and if you are struggling with overexercise, I really want you to do this exercise with me. I asked myself why I exercise. Why do I exercise? So I wrote down a list of the reasons I used to have when I used exercise as this way to punish myself, and I added a not, you know, like Borat, not in a sentence. Like, one of the reasons was to feel better about my poor food choices. And to feel better about my poor food choices is not a reason to exercise. Guilt is not a reason to exercise. Eating a bag of chips is not a reason to exercise. Self-hate, hating yourself for something you did or something you said or just the way you look in the mirror is not a reason to exercise. A thigh gap is not a reason to exercise. A flat stomach is not a reason to exercise. Eliminating cellulite is not a reason to exercise. Like, so then I kind of wrote a big list. So I want you to write that list and just put a not a reason to exercise, not a reason to exercise, drill it into your head. So, and then now it's like, what are my reasons to exercise? And dive deep into yourself, into your bigger purpose, into your mission, into like your values. And as I'm sitting here telling you this, like, I realize I've been sitting in this position for, let's see, 17 minutes, and my hips are tight, my shoulders are hunched, right? Like, my neck is kind of bent, and for most of the day, my wrists are like, you know, gaining carpal tunnel syndrome status. And I look like that guy. Have you ever seen the meme of a guy in front of a computer? Either it's like that guy, or I guess that's like the Family Guy wow guy, or that guy. I don't know, one of those memes. That's what I look like most of the time. And so, isn't sitting the new smoking? This idea that the reasons to exercise is tied to why I love my body and appreciating the amazing things it can do. And I mean, my body created my children. It nourished them, and it allowed them to grow into these little beings from when they were in my belly to now they are running around. And I only get one body, right? Everyone is only allowed one body until you can, until I don't know, body snatchers or something like that, when you upload your entire brain into the drive and then load it onto another body. I've been watching too much sci-fi stuff. Anyway, and I want it to function as best as it can for as long as I live. And my reasons to exercise, really, and I'll leave you with these reasons, and I want you to think about them. The reasons to exercise that motivates me every single day to do it. Not that I keep track of it. I just know I check it off. Like, it's just done, like brushing my teeth. To be able to do my favorite hike well into my 90s. To have the mobility, like the functional mobility to do my 8 activities of daily living until the day I die. So that, like, I'm just keep moving. I'll just keep moving. I'm never going to be, I'm never going to need a walker. I never need a cane. I'm never going to, that stuff. To have the agility and the flexibility to travel the world until my golden years, like late in life, so I can get off a plane, go to the airport, pack my stuff, lug around my luggage. To prevent injuries, back pain, neck pain, all these things that are going to be like everyone's going to be struggling with. That's important, right? There's an entire generation that grew up with a phone, and they're going to be like this all day. And then, a physiotherapist is always going to have a job, but to pick up my children and my grandchildren, like future grandchildren, right? Without straining a muscle, without when you're reaching down, you're like, oh crap, my back, right? But just reaching down, you'd be like, oh, I'm fine. To get up from the floor after playing with your kids without feeling like, oh my God, crick, crack, right? To walk up and down the stairs with a load of laundry without fear that I'm going to fall, right? Without a fear that I'm going to lose my balance and break my hip and fall. So that I can continue to live in a house that has stairs, to carry all the groceries, like all the groceries from the car, and I think about, for a while, I really want to do a pull-up, and eventually I'll get there. I've been practicing at the playground with my kids. But like, I always think of this, those movies where like someone's hanging off a cliff and then like you either fall or you don't, or someone comes and grabs you, or they actually step on your fingers. That I can actually pull myself up properly from if ever I'm hanging off a cliff. And then like lastly, and this is like a little bit like apocalyptic, but to have the cardiovascular endurance to run away during a zombie apocalypse while carrying my husband and carrying my kids and just run, like to have that, my heart strong enough to do all that in that burst of fear. What are your reasons? Like, I'd love to know like what your journey is with exercise. Do you over-exercise? Do you under-exercise? Is exercise something you don't even think about? I'd love to know. Share with me your stories and your comments, and I'd love to hear.